Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you again. And you know what? We obviously get some lovely feedback, don't we, from listeners that, they kind of want to carry on the conversation. They finish watching the show and then they want to hear what we have to say and then kind of have that conversation. Honestly, Chris, I am so grateful that I've got somewhere to vent to because after that episode, I'm just chomping at the bit to get going, Chris. So, I think I know what you're going to say, but where would you like to start today?
It's got to be the Eden and Grant shoulder barge, Dave. The little bit of a, bit of a step. I think both were to blame, but Eden again, the way he fucking carries himself these last few episodes, what a dick. An absolute grade A dick. And the Grant said it. I'm sick of him bullying. I'm just sick of his attitude. There's only so long he can keep quiet. I mean, what did you think to that, Dave?
Yeah, and I said it yesterday, and I do see a lot of myself, quite honestly. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just is a thing, but I do recognize a lot of myself in Grant, to be honest. And again, he's been biting his lip for so long. Yeah, he was probably wrong, in the first place. It wasn't a shoulder barge, was it? He just sort of grazed past him in the kitchen. It's a tiny little bloody walkway to get through there. He could have probably walked around, but in that moment, he was a bit annoyed, so sort of he instigated it. But then the total overreaction from Eden beyond that, it's just, he was just winding me up, Chris. I think he was over the top, but we know what Eden is. We know what he's like. I think I was more disappointed, to be honest, Chris, in how Taylor behaved to the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I actually was thinking the same thing. I think she came over, Eden put his arm round, and she sat with them all laughing away and stuff, knowing Grant was stewing. She's winding Grant up then. I don't know what Grant had actually done wrong, and she's then fucking going. And I've liked Taylor this whole series, but I thought she was just totally going me, me, me. Millie's there holding her hair, everything. It's like, why can't you see that Eden is a fucking cock and he's a bully? But you're going at Grant. I'm not
Yeah,
saying Grant is completely innocent, but he was more in the right than Eden was. Eden was just being a complete cock, just
yeah.
I fucking do you, you little weasel or whatever. No, it's like he's threatening him there straight away. And Grant has had enough of his bullying bullshit. And there's no coincidence that most people's gripes are with Erin and Eden. I'm sorry, they're involved in every fucking little snipe, whatever. They're there, Dave. Whether they're always involved in something, especially Eden. And it's like it's all coming to a head. People just like, I've had enough. And I do think Taylor was wrong, completely dealt with it wrong. Grant groveling, I would never have done that. I'd be like, and I'm, me, I'm using like quite placid in that. But if I was put in that situation, I'd be like, fuck off. I'm not apologizing because I've done nothing wrong. He's a dick, And then
Yeah.
once Grant went to apologize, it's like he gave the power back because Eden was like, I'm fucking talking to him. I'm not talking to him. Well, we're not mates. We don't need to speak to each other. We've got 2 days to go. And it's like, you're a dick.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, Grant, to me, showed that he's the biggest person. And the thing I was thinking to myself, Chris, is look, he is Grant crap, right? For his whole life, he's been Grant crap. Can you imagine being in school and being Grant crap, Chris?
I know. I know.
He's been bullied and he doesn't like it, right? That's why he's been pounding away at the gym. That's why he's got the chisel body that he has, and he doesn't like seeing other people bullied, and that's why you saw that relationship with the likes of Teddy, being nurtured, and he's just not interested in bully boys like Eden, and I include Dom in that as well. And I just think, that's why he's been trying to suck it up. But the way Taylor was going way over the top, she's like, "Where's my emotional support?" And it feels like it's only me. And he gets so angry, and I'm not going to get in another relationship where someone's so aggressive. Really, yeah, he was wrong to, well, he's wrong on two things, I guess. To bring up the Cassidy thing was a misjudgment, on a monumental scale. But again, he made that one mistake there. It's the visceral reaction that comes back from Eden and Erin that escalates that whole thing. He brushes past Eden. Again, he's made a mistake there, but absolutely over the top reaction from Eden, which escalates the whole fucking thing. And she's going on about how aggressive Grant is. That really wound me up, Chris. But she wound me up even further by even listening to what Eden had to say. And then, he goes in to give her a little cuddle and that. I was just like, oh, fuck off. And Grant just walked off, didn't he? Walked off the villa. I'd have fucking done the same. And she does not get it, Chris. This is not fucking sing around the campfire and, sing Kumbaya. Sometimes, right, blokes need to sort it out in a different fucking way. You can't just hold hands and get on with it because Eden will fucking walk over anyone he fucking feels like it, and Grant's just not going to put up with it.
Yeah, it will. Dave, I don't condone stuff like this, but in some respects, Eden needs to be put down a peg or two. And there's only one way to put someone down like that, unfortunately, because he's just a bully. He's a schoolyard bully who's got his own way. And it's horrible to say that word. It really is because it's used so much these days, sometimes in the right way, but you can literally be labelled a bully. Not, and he's been showed and people have done nothing wrong. And once you're labelled that, it's very hard to get rid of it. But he's a dick. He's just a dick. We know people like that. I know people like that. I've got members of my family like that who have like absolutely, when I was a kid, just ruined my life. Not ruined it, but ruled my life, like
Mm.
because you were scared of him and that. These members of your family. You know what I mean? And as you get older, you think you can't do that to me anymore. So it's like people like that, I have no time for whatsoever. And it's a TV show, it's a bit of fun. The way it's gone with Eden, Erin, and even Dom, fuck me, an absolute trio. A trio there of people. Erin's can be so nice, and I think she's got such a good heart at times. But then when she gets nasty, she just goes the other way completely. There's no in between. She's just completely one way the other. And I know she was only young when this was. I'm hoping 2 years later, and I've mentioned some of her social media, you know, quote sort of thing. I'm hoping that she's grown as a person, but I don't believe Dom and Eden, even watching this now, would sit there and go, you know what, I was an absolute prick. If they did and they come out and said, I'm really sorry, and that, you'd go, you know what, fair enough. Everyone has to grow up at some point. But them two are just the typical jockstrap bellends you get at any school around the world.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. But like I say, I mean, I think I mentioned it before. I thought Grant, his apology was exceptional. I think he said all of the right things. The only reason Eden went across was because he was in the group, and so he thought he'd come off looking bad. But Eden didn't apologize for shit, Chris. He didn't
No,
apologize for anything. He just sort of accepted, yep, Grant, I don't like you and whatever. We don't have to speak to each other, so that's it. Let's not create any divisions in the villa and all this. And so the fact that Eden never apologized for anything, I think fucking speaks volumes.
it does, Dave. And also, what was even better was, at this point, Grant is losing the episode. We go to the lie detector test, David. And Millie, just as we're doing the VTs about the lie detector test, the guys don't know. Millie actually comes out with, well, we all know what's going to come out with fucking Eden's mouth, a load of bullshit. And I was pissing myself because she fucking hates that man. And the way she said it, Millie was just completely cutting. So bravo to Millie. But yeah, so we get Josh in there. Josh passes with flying colours with Amelia. Is she the prettiest girl in there? Yes. Are you in love with her? No, not at the moment. Correct. Is there something outside? Yeah. Totally passes it. No problem at all.
Yep.
Grant goes in there. I know there was a couple either side, but we'll get to the juicy bits in a minute. Grant goes in there, passes everything. Have you ever cheated on a partner? No. Do you think Taylor's the prettiest girl? And think, yes. Are you in love with her? Yes. Everything. Taylor couldn't get enough of him. Jumps on him. Dave. Then we get squirming 6'5" Dom. And he goes in there with fucking I think was it Erin
Amelia.
saying
Amelia
Amelia. Oh,
was the
sorry,
one. Yep.
Amelia. Yeah, Amelia and Shelby sat there. So, have you come in here to raise your profile? No. Well, that's a lie. Do you like Taylor? No. Well, there's another lie. Do you like Shelby? Yeah. No, there's another lie, son. Everything we've said, and this isn't like I'm wary of us singling them two out as well, but everything we've said is fucking come true with him. I've never, and he kept going.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he's watched Basic Instinct when Michael Douglas passed the fucking lie detector test, and he went, "How do you pass that? I don't know, Sharon Stone, only man ever to pass." When he's thinking, "Hang on, has he watched fucking well, it used to be on, didn't it? What's it called? Jeremy Kyle, the fucking
Oh,
liar,
yeah.
Jerry Springer, that sort of thing." I think he's thinking, right, I'll just be calm and I'll pass it. And he's like, "Our survey said, you failed everything, son."
You know what? And he was squirming, wasn't he, in the diary room? He's like, oh, just before I answered, I was like going, and the thing, the little detector was bullshit.
I love it, Dave. Love it.
But what was the thing? I mean, he got a perfect game, didn't he? Basically, 100% of his answers were lies, and honestly, it kind of validates just what we've been saying in our perception of him, since not necessarily since day one he got in the Villa, but it built up a picture of him quite early on. What I couldn't quite catch, Chris, is like they kept talking about it. It was something like a roop or a route or something like that.
Yeah,
Have you come here just for a route? And I couldn't quite get. You know what? Sorry, Chris, to go back to Eden again. I could understand fucking early movies of Rocky. I could understand fucking Sylvester Stallone better than I can Eden. You know, it is, mate.
yeah,
It just fucking mumbles and can't fucking work out what he's saying. So I didn't really pick up what that was, but it kept coming back. Lots of people. The the impression I got was it seemed like they were using it like a shag.
yeah, yeah.
What did
I
you
do.
think?
I think it was that, and I saw it as that. It's just basically the profile thing, which you got sussed out on. I was thinking, does it mean a route into celebrity? If it was a route or a route, I don't know what that means. If any of our Aussie listeners, and we've got plenty of them, could tell us, I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, I could have done this during the episode, Chris, but just as I was saying that and you were talking, right? So I typed in Aussie slang root. So it is a root, ROOT. Root is an offensive Australian slang verb meaning have sexual intercourse with.
Ah, right, fair enough, fair enough. Don't need to tell us then, guys.
So yeah, I mean, the way it came across, that seemed to be what it was saying, but I've never heard that before.
No, I've never heard that. And I think as well, Dave, the two people who have been really bad these last few episodes get sus because Dom's was bad and he squirmed and sat down and fucking Grant's like, you got more there, son. And he sat there with Taylor, like dead awkward. And I've never seen this Dom and Taylor thing other than when they played that game where he went around and kissed people. So I don't know what's happened
They
there.
were doing a whole taste, yeah, like a
Yeah, that's like
blindfold test. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's like an off-camera thing. I've never seen anything between them. But anyway, he obviously does like her. Good old Eden. Good old the leader of the house, the fucking most stand-up honest guy in there. Well, Eden, is Erin the one you're going to have sex with for the rest of your life? Correct. No, that is wrong, son. That's completely wrong.
Oh, but
Do
that
you?
wasn't the best one, was it? That
No,
was not
no,
the best one.
no. So we get. Do you think you'll win Love Island, Mr. Arrogant 2018? We will. Oh, that's true. That was about one of the only truest ones he said, and it was. Do you fancy Millie? And you can see he knew that was coming, and it's one of them ones where he's thinking, I can't lie, because I know I'm going to. He went, yes, and everyone went, you fucking what? And then she went, man, I was fucking crying because then he was trying to be a bit of a prick, didn't he? With Shelby, he was like, oh, I saw with her. And he could hear it going, oh, come out, and all this. And I was like, oh, mate, you have just fucked yourself over.
So to me, right, so the actual words that Shelby used were, do you find Millie attractive? And you went, yes. All the girls are attractive in there, Chris. I,
Yes.
I, I don't get it. It's fucking Love Island. It's the top one percenters. Erin's reaction was just bananas, quite honestly. And if Shelby had used the words that you used there, do you fancy Millie? Right, okay, I could maybe kind of understand some kind of reaction. And then she's doing it in the diary room, isn't she? She's measuring up. She's saying, well, if he finds Millie attractive, I'm here and Millie's right next to me, kind of thing. No, they're all attractive. What, is he going to say she's fucking ugly? But then, honestly, Chris, it was. We've seen Erin go off on one before, but I found it quite uncomfortable. she's shouting up the stairs. She's making everyone else around her uncomfortable. Taylor's like, that's not normal. You're just a fucking toxic couple. And again, it just validates what we've been saying before. Again, you know, Eden sort of disarms her with a bit of a laugh. It ain't gonna fucking last, Chris. Not a chance.
No, and I think that's the thing. We've watched it. They're convinced they're going to win it, and I know like he's quite good at diffusing it with Erin. And you're right. It's not the end of the world, Dave. Look, the hell, Dave. I've been married 22 years. There's still women that I find attractive. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go and react to it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just life, innit? Whatever whether you're into women, men, whatever, there's always people you're going to find attractive. It doesn't matter, does it? That's just human nature. Human beings are set up like that. It's an animal instinct. That's it. There's nothing. It wasn't like you say. As much as I don't like him, it's not like he said like, "Yeah, I want to get it on with her" or
Yeah.
anything.
Would
But
would you have a crack at Millie? Yes.
yeah,
Right. That
yeah,
that might be different.
you're in trouble. Yeah, you're in
Yeah.
trouble. Or do you think Millie's more attractive than Erin? Then he would definitely be fucked. But
Yeah.
I think the problem is with Erin, and I understand it is. It is. She's had an inkling about this. Look at the last few days when he lifted her upside down. He put his arm around her in
Yeah. Yeah.
yesterday's episode. She's not daft, Dave. She knows that for some reason Millie is a threat to her, and the fact that her and Millie hate each other makes it worse. And that's probably why Eden's attracted to her because he doesn't. He knows it winds Erin up. He's probably, you know what I mean. So it's like one of the things what you can't have, you want more, and I think that's why he's doing it because it knows it's like getting to her. So it's just one of them things. You just move on. I didn't. I'm the same as you. I thought he was great for the shock factor, but when I took a step back, it was like he didn't really do anything wrong,
No.
But
No. E-
again, though, Dave.
Sorry, I was just going to say, even though I've made my feelings clear on Eden, I do think he is a bully. I think he's a distasteful character. But in that scenario, he didn't do anything wrong, and she's just fucking gone off on one. And again, she
Yeah,
keeps going. It's because she hates Millie so much as well, I think, and she keeps pointing out, she's got small tits, she's got real tits. Look, I went under the knife, because I had small tits, but now I've surgically enhanced myself. Why would you look at Millie? She can't get it, and I think that's a lack of self-esteem, to be honest, Chris. I think that's scratching away on something more, deeper at a deeper psychological level.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that, Dave. I think that's a very good analysis. So we get to the end now, and we get the voting off, and the couple Dom and Shelby, who have been absolutely not Shelby's fault necessarily, but Dom has been absolutely nailed to the cross, get to stay. And
I
I
don't get
find
it,
that
Chris.
utterly no, I find that utterly bullshit again. And I do think like watching it, Millie again was great. She's like you can see he's playing a game. The genuine ones will stay in or whatever. She doesn't stand any shit. And what I loved is Dave, Mark and Millie did not once go over to Erin and Eden and that fucking see. He didn't even speak to them.
Yeah.
Millie was having none of it. She was not going to be fake. She just fucking walked out.
Yeah, I guess what I don't get, Chris, maybe maybe there's a lot of women voting. Maybe they quite like how Dom looks, because it was the Australian vote that kept Dom and Shelby in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't the couples in the villa making any of the choices. So I don't get what they've seen between them two. I mean, just before the voting, you had Shelley try and have a chat with Dom, but he's just got no fucking answers, Chris. And he ends up storming off and sulking because he's got no fucking answers. He can't come back to it. She was asking him about the whole route thing, and he's just, again, just fucking lying, Chris. He doesn't even know he's doing it half the time. So how they're still in is beyond me. And you could tell Grant was pretty pissed off by it as well. He didn't think that Mark and Millie should have gone. Obviously, he's cultivated that friendship with Mark, so he probably feels a bit threatened now, a bit alone, apart from Taylor, who doesn't always seem to have his back as well. So yeah, I mean the safe couples were Eden and Erin, Grant and Taylor, very predictable, but then Dom and Shelby. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, when Sophie said, Chris, you've got to come to an agreement. Honestly, again, I've got 50% of me is like, oh, yes, we're going to see more drama. And 50% of me, like, my stomach just sank. And it's like, oh, I don't know if I can take this 2 nights on the trot. But ultimately, Eden and Erin were not going to change what they'd done the day before, so they were obviously going to vote for Millie and Mark to go out. Josh and Amelia as well. Dom and Shelby. Well, again, they tactically, I think, wanted Mark and Millie to be gone as well. So yeah, Grant and Taylor. Grant just kept stum, didn't he? And I think Taylor just said we're struggling as well. But whether they were struggling or not, Mark and Millie were always going to go home, I think. And
Yeah.
it was Shelby who delivered the news.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, they went. I do think it's. I think if Dom and Shelby weren't there, it would have been the right couple to go, Dave. I think Dom and Shelby should have gone first, and then next it should have been Mark and Millie,
Yeah,
because give them another day, see if anything does genuinely blossom. But I do think Josh and Amelia now look pretty solid as well. So I think they're in there in the mix now to see who can win it out of like possibly 3 or 4. Shelby and Dom are not. They've got to be the next couple to get voted off,
you'd
without a
have
doubt
thought
now.
so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Surprised that they're still there. Again, I can't. It was the right call tonight, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
ignoring all the tactics and whatever. And Millie, I tell you what, Chris, when Millie's talking to Taylor and Taylor's getting all emotional, I did have a bit of a lump in the throat, to be honest. Obviously got a nice little friendship there.
Yeah, she has, to be fair. Really nice. And I think, hopefully it outside the villa that carries on. There's a few good friendships, Dave. Grant has got Teddy there, and he's a good mate. So I'm hoping that carries on as well. And even Mark and Grant seem to be quite tight as well. It's nice. It's nice. There's some nice people there that I hope stay friends afterwards, because it's an experience that no one else would do other than the ones on the show. It's completely unique, isn't it? So
Yeah.
understandable. But Dave, we've got 2 episodes left. We're on episode 29 tomorrow. So within 2 days, the series is going to be over, and then we're going to have. And Dave, I can't explain how much I am dying to fucking do this catch-up episode. There's so much I want to talk to you about, but I can't. So I want your reaction completely. Original reaction completely there. You know nothing, and I can't wait for that. So that's going to be in about 2 or 3 days, which is going to be brilliant.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it as well. I do have to say, Chris, just before we wrap up and everything, I've heaped the praise on Grant. I thought he did well tonight, even though he's sort of painted as the pantomime villain, I think, from within the villa. But what was all that making a wish shit about at the end?
I don't know, Dave.
Isn't it if you tell someone a wish, it doesn't happen? I thought when he sort of put his head down, said, so he's obviously going to make a wish. I thought that was it. He was just going to sort of have it in his own head. But when he was speaking it out loud, I was like, nah, mate, I'm not having that. It's a
No.
complete setup.
Yeah, I did as well, especially the green undies he had on.
Yeah.
They were the best. He's got a great body, but them green undies was just, no, I'm not feeling them at all, Dave. But yeah, I don't know why he did it. It was fucking cringe to 100. It was just like, oh, mate, please stop. You've done yourself a lot of good in this episode. Redeemed yourself. Don't fucking ruin it. And he did. He was just like, oh, fucking hell. But,
It was really bad, wasn't it?
yeah, it was out of character, to be fair. I agree. I think it was just a bit of producer-led direction stuff, a lot of bollocks. But anyway, if you want to contact us, guys, at cdrealitycast on Twitter and Instagram, cdrealitycast@gmail.com if you want to drop us an email. And if you do get a chance, drop myself and Dave a review on the podcast caption after your choice. So, Dave, great episode 2 left, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye now.